Hello and welcome back, and this is the third video of writing an assignment. And this video starts a little bit differently than the other two, simply because there's something I forgot to tell you at the end of the second video, and that still belongs to the second video. So when you are cutting out the highlighted sections from your sources, make sure that on each and every cutout you write down the source where that particular piece is from. Otherwise, you can be sure that you will forget it. And this step, not only the writing down the sources, but basically the whole cutting out and writing down the sources should take you about 1 day, 1 full day, maximum 2 if you're taking it easy. But generally speaking, 1 day should be enough. And now, here we are, writing an assignment, part 3. So in the second video, we were talking about creating your own library. This is when you actually identify and collect the sources that you're going to have to read. The second step was finding relevant sections. So you have to skim through your sources and I highlight the sections that are relevant, and in the third step, creating categories where you had to cut out those categories, write down the sources on the cutouts, and sort these cutouts into different themes. So the fourth step is going to be the read and take notes. So basically, this is the time when you're going to start to do some deep reading. So you just start with one pile and you start reading the sources. You can still do underlines in the sources, and you also should take some notes. Okay, maybe you can take notes on the back of the cutouts, or if you printed everything out, that you can use post-it notes. And your notes could be anything really. I mean, they could be just questions like, what is this? Or, okay, but why? Or where is the evidence? Or it can be a link to another source like, oh, this is the same, or this is exactly the opposite as in Smith. Or you can write a summary of a shorter section. I think writing a summary is very often a good idea. And when I do that, basically, I just try to explain to my imaginary friend what that short section was about. And that has a lot of advantages as well, because it helps you with processing the information. As you are explaining, you are placing the new piece of information somewhere in your scheme. And it also shows whether you have understood that particular part, because if you cannot explain it to somebody else, even if that someone else is imaginary, then probably you didn't really understand that section. If you are just using exactly the same vocabulary and in exactly the ideas in exactly the same order, then probably you didn't really understand what you have just read. It also helps you with paraphrasing, and if you're not a native speaker of English, it also helps you with your English. This step is going to take you some time. It's going to take you about 10 days, okay? But it is absolutely worth doing, because this will help you to understand the topic a lot better. Then you can move on to the fifth step, which is creating a mind map. So a mind map is very different from just brainstorming, because in brainstorming you just write down random things, but a mind map is organized. In a mind map, you present the different pieces of information, but you also explore relationship between the information, and you also identify different themes. I know you did that in step 3, but this is the time when you're actually going to finalize those main themes, those main categories. For this, you will need a big workspace, like a big desk, or you could use, I don't know, just the floor or your wall. Or again, if you're working on your computer, you could use Padlet, which is a free online working space. And it works on your mobile phone or your tablet as well. You can insert as many different items as you want to. You can insert PDF documents or Word documents or videos, and then you can start moving them around as well. So anyway, it doesn't really matter whether you're using actual physical articles or online articles. You can still create a mind map for yourself. And what you basically do in this step is that you take one of the piles, you lay out the different sources that you have found with your notes, and then you identify or look for relationships actually between the sources, or you decide that, for example, you want to change them around because the order of the ideas require that. So, but basically, at the end of the day, what you are really doing is you're finalizing your main themes for the essay. For example, in this one, how to focus in the age of destruction, this person identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 main themes, and within these 7 main themes there are several other lower level themes that this person could discuss. This step is very important because it helps you to understand the topic a lot better, and it also helps you to decide about the structure of your essay. Okay, we discussed this in the first video, that deciding the structure of your essay is not going to be the first step. No, it is going to be one of the last ones. Okay, and after you have created the mind map, I mean, just think about it, by this time you have skimmed through your sources several times. You've done deep reading, you've done summarizing and note-taking, and you organize the different sources here and there. So you definitely should understand this topic really, really well. And this step should not take you more than 1 day, really. I mean, I wrote 1 or 2 days. Probably that other extra day is going to be used for step 3. But where you are now, you still have 11 days left for the last step, and that step is writing everything up. So in this step, nothing else really left for you, just to sit down and get on with it, really. But again, by this time, you will know your topic really, really well. So I don't think that it should be any problem for you. You can begin writing your essay up anywhere you like, simply because if you have identified that, okay, I'm going to have like 4 main themes, that, okay, and I'm going to start with the second one or the first one, it doesn't really matter, because you have identified the important parts, you categorized them, and you read a lot about them as well. Again, remember, you will have 11 days, which is really writing 300 words a day. That's barely 1 page, to be honest. And you will still have 1 more day left. Okay. One more thing I want to mention that is really important is the references. Some students think that, all right, I'm going to write the essay first and then I'm going to insert the in-text citation and the final references. In most cases, those students fail to do a really good job. This is really difficult. This is a really difficult way to do this. So my recommendation would be is that you should do this simultaneously. So as you decide that you are going to use a source in the text, then you add that to your reference list. Another way of doing it, maybe meeting halfway, is that you write a paragraph or maybe two paragraphs, because maybe two paragraphs are really closely related to each other. And you highlight the parts that were taken from different sources. And obviously, you are also going to have a color code. And once you have written your paragraph or two paragraphs, then actually you can put the different authors in the paragraphs, and you can add these to your final reference list. Okay, so basically this was it. Yeah, this is my only reference that I use. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you find this useful. Ta-ta!